Namaskar, hello and welcome to this very special commemoration of the International Day of Parliamentarism. And today we are commemorating this very special day by way of power pack presentations from some of the very young evaluators of our parliamentarians. And I would welcome you all. And if you can all come on the camera, I can see Kinjal Rajpurohit on the camera. So if everyone can just come over. So the entire purpose, like we are young students and we have to give a lot of examinations day in and day out, and we are appraised, evaluated, assessed, whatever synonyms we can just put across to the entire, I would say, uh, 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 and entire burden of getting evaluated in our school. So we felt, why not we as young prospective electors, you all are still way past the 18 years of age to cast your first vote, but you are aspiring electors. And we just felt, why not throw away a contest that appraise your members of parliament from the very constituency which you are witnessing. And since this is something like when you go to the higher education institutions, you get a lot of feedback forms for your faculty, especially in the IITs or AIMS or whatever premier institutions. Thereby, after every course which is conducted, you have to put up a faculty appraisal form. That's a kind of a democratic American way of evaluating your own teacher. Before the teacher also evaluates transcripts, your answer sheets, and so on and so forth. But in a democracy, in a vibrant democracy, and especially a parliamentary democracy, what our founding fathers of our constitution chose, uh, appraising our MPs, it is not just a one fine day electoral booth kind of a wonder where you go and cast your ballot. Okay, this is the person whom we choose to represent our collective interests in the parliament, or then the other lower dimensions of democracy for that matter. Any parliamentary democracy functions on a constant, continuous evaluation of its representatives, though the formal platforms of the same are still lacking. But like the CC, the CBSE has given the constant, continuous, constant evaluation of the students for that matter. So, in the same spirit, the parliamentarians need also to be evaluated. And just last year, the 18th Lok Sabha got constituted, and 542 parliamentarians got elected from the nook and cranny of the country. And they were sent to the Lok Sabha, and many of these parliamentarians rose to prominence in the post Sindoor global emissary saga. And so it was a challenge, and very many schools, our faculty coordinators came back to us, sir, what are you asking for the students to evaluate who have still not voted, appraising their members of parliament? We said, yes, that is what a democracy is all about. And India is a country of Nachiketas, whereby we have had the tradition of posing questions even to the god of death. You all might be having some anecdotal idea about that. So we are a civilization of questioning. We are argumentative Indians, and obedience without questioning is something which is not in our genetic makeup. We are someone who really do a kind of a triangulation. It's not getting disrespectful. It is all about appraising, and appraising is quite a very positive and a constructive concept. And when you will be going in your higher classes, perhaps in the management studies or that matter, appraisal is something which is very, very positive out there. So, welcome you to this Appraise Your MP contest. We chose to dedicate it to one of the very prominent mascots of Indian parliamentarism. None other than Manohar Parrikar Sahab. Multiple reasons happened. His birthday falls on the very day when the Indian Parliament was attacked upon in the post Kargil and 2001 era, and so forth, 13th of December. His name also acronyms as an MP, the member of parliament, part of it all. And we somewhere felt that Mr. Parikar, represents that future of Indian parliamentarism, whereby the young, educated, highly educated one, he was an alumnus of IIT Bombay, and rose to be the defense minister of the country, and also many times chief minister of the very lovely state of Goa, for that matter. So that kind of resonance we have been trying to build up this. We apologize or regret that dates had to be moved on. In Anurab was the first daring person from, I would say, the brave Bengal, and I happen to spend half a decade out there at IIT Kharagpur, so I understand that how democracy is so very deeply impregnated into the nook and cranny of that, I would say, the land of revolutionaries, right from Chaitanya, who rose and who gave up the first civil disobedience movement in Nadia, and right from our entire freedom struggle of stalwarts, from political field, from scientific field, so and so forth. And then we were joined in by, in the last call for from Mahavir Public School. I think we have a lovely team over here. I think of all girls team. I think that's the 33% reservation. What the new parliament passed with the new parliament building. We would say parliament is quite old. So it's lovely to see out here the kind of contest over there. And we would be now picking up in an iterative fashion. And today also happens to be the International Day of Parliamentarism, and yet another day associated with yet another parliamentarian, Dada Bhai Naroji. We all have heard about him, the grand old man of India. And he was someone who was the only second person of Indian origin who rose to prominence in the British Parliament. And Dadabhai Naroji, we know from his Drain of Indian Wealth by the British Empire work, what he said, that the British systematically looted India, and the loot from the Battle of Plassey got funneled into the Industrial Revolution, something which contemporary politicians and diplomats like Dr. Shashi Tharoor and all have talked a lot at the Oxford and various other levels. And so this is yet another tribute we pay to Dada Bhai Naroji, who really raised the Indian consciousness that India is not a poor country. India is a rich country, and many of the people say that it's a rich country, but governed by corrupt people. And the entire 11 years of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rule, which we have been all been witnessing, and this is his third term. That war against corruption, that is what it's another matter, that the wealth of the Indians has tripled in the Swiss banks. Now, this is again a parliamentary debate, which you all have to come to that. So, with this, let's hear you all out, and perhaps with Anurab's permission, he was the first to come, but perhaps he would adhere to the adage of ladies first, for that matter, and I would so that let's hear the presentation of the Mahavir Public School. And before I invite the all ladies team from the school and who will be presenting, and then Anurab will be taking appraising his parliamentarian. I would request Dr. Surbi to say her opening words on this very solemn occasion. And parliamentarism is something which we are at Rethink India are very passionate about it, because Model United Nations is one part that's on the global level. But what affects us, our day-to-day lives, our potholes, our streets, our very many functions, how the Lok Sabha passes a lot of bills through voice vote, or I would say through kind of gadgets, and so many dynamics we get to see. And the monsoon session is just coming through, so very many innovations we would be coming across. So Model United Nations is one part of the spectrum, but then parliamentarism, Indic parliamentarism, is something which is so very important, and it affects our day-to-day lives so very, very, very much. So, Dr. Surbi, your opening words, and then we'll start off today's session, for that matter.
So I welcome all the contestants from our schools, on the International Day of Parliamentarism. And I feel, that an enlightened electorate is something which we have always advocated at Rethink India, where we say that, each citizen must be conscious, aware, and, having knowledge about his or her constituency. And the parliamentarian, the MP, the member of the parliament who is representing your constituency. And this starts right at the school level, So, and we are creating leaders for tomorrow. So, I mean, this is something, this model United Nations based, parliament of the young students is something which is, I think, going to be a very, very scintillating experience, I'm sure, for all of us.
So the challenge what we threw to all of you was you appraise your parliamentarian, whatever constituency you have felt ideas about it on their legislative, deliberative, and developmental footprints. And what we asked upon this parliamentarians' poll promises, the extent of its deliverance or advancement on that frontier, the parliamentarians' attendance both in the parliament as well as in the constituency. So this called for certain research, and we would be appraising your very presentations based on that as well. And the extent of participation of your parliamentarian in various charged up debates in the parliament, and parliamentarians' individual initiative in legislative business and innovations, if any. Has the parliamentarian brought about any private member bill or something like that? That was a matter of research. And membership on various parliamentary panels. We know we have several parliamentary standing committees. So how your very parliamentarian is he or she on certain committee for that matter, and how he or she has fared on that. And then most importantly, contributions to the constituency level, developmental programs, governance, nudging the local public servants in the, because after all that parliamentarian is representing your very constituency over there. So if we see, there is an entire spectrum from electoral politics to governance. Electoral politics is something where ideological, I would say, political party ideologies are there. You vote based on a mascot, a kind of a central leader or a party, or the promises of the individual. Slowly and gradually, the programs are of a party largely, or a leader, not of the parliamentarian, but somewhere or the other India is still a. This is again a debatable issue, and that is something we want to spark off by way of these contests, these surveys. That it is the MPs who in turn elect an PM. So India doesn't elect a president like the United States does. So there is a stark difference, and this entire activity is under the applied civics part of it all. How you are applying the civics in your day-to-day life, and when you become a first-time I would say elector. What sweep? It is the Election Commissions of India's initiative whereby they try to create a kind of a knowledge vertical that the young learners, it's systematic voters education and electoral participation division of Election Commission of India. This entire activity is inspired by that substantive part of it all. And Rethink India runs a forum for enlightened electorate. We say that emotional sentimentalism and superficial chatter, our electoral politics has to go deeper into substance, into issues, and a kind of a mandate which our electors would really build it up. And then we also run a program called Constituency Connect, whereby how the educational institutions can be as a B2B, the electors in the fray, I would say the contestants in the fray and the institutions can have a kind of communications with each one of them. So it's a larger series of it all. So I welcome you all, and as any grand beginning, it is always started with a very few, I would say, daredevils who dare to evaluate. I think very many people were so startled कि भैया अपने एमपी को हम कुछ अप्रेस करेंगे, ये तो सीक्रेट बैलेट है तो हम बच जाते हैं, हम खुले में अपने एमपी को अगर अप्रेस करेंगे एंड क्रिटिकली, very objectively, not I would say uh, both extremes are not good because reality somewhere lies in between. So still, that is what the daredevils of India are all about, and that's what the future of Indian democracy lies and daring people like you. So let's hear out from our all girls team from Mahavir School, Delhi. And let's hear who is their MP, which constituency out of the seven electoral, I would say, Lok Sabha constituencies, who is the I would say the lucky one whom you would be appraising tonight on this day of International Day of Parliamentarism. So over to Kinjal, Soumya, Priyanshi, and Devhuti. I think four of you. We had received the names of three. Anyways, no, doesn't matter. So I think I've given you the.
Sir, I am the faculty member joining to support them. They three will be
Okay,
present.
Soumya. Okay, you are the faculty member, ma'am. Perfect, perfect. So let me just share. Oh, just a moment. So we all know that the Bharatiya Janata Party, which grew to be 303 kind of a member, it started with two parliamentarians only. So today we have two contesting schools from different part of the country, one from the national capital, political capital, and one from the intellectual capital of the kind. So just a moment, why it is not showing? Okay, you can share now, please. Kinjal, Priyanshi, and Devhuti. So Dr. Surbhi would be your primary, I would say, she will be taking notes on all the aspects and then we will go forward. Yeah. Okay. Lovely, lovely.
Promises are like paper.
Yeah, go on, please, Kinjal. Yeah.
Promises are like paper.
Easy to make, easy to tear apart.
Honorable Speaker, respected judges, and esteemed fellow parliamentarians, a delightful good evening to all of you. We are here today to participate in this thought provoking session on the appraisal of members of parliament, a timely and essential exercise in democratic accountability.
Today, we are here to represent Northeast Delhi constituency and our MP Shri Manoj Tiwari ji, who has had a notable political journey and bridges the arena of governance. Today, we all will evaluate his works with optimism, objectivity, and fairness. I, along with my teammates, have researched various aspects of Manoj Tiwari ji, parliamentary contributions from his constituency development to his involvement in national debates. With that spirit, now let's begin our assessment of Manoj Tiwari ji tenure as a public representative. To start with the assessment, we will first dive into his personal life and achievements. Shri Manoj Tiwari ji is an Indian actor, singer, and politician. He represents Delhi Northeast Lok Sabha constituency in the lower house of the Indian Parliament. He is a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Shri Manoj Tiwari ji has done his schooling from Shri Kamlakar Chaube Adarsh Seva Vidyalay Intermediate College, Varanasi. He continued his graduation from BHU, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. He has a degree in MBED, Master of Physical Education. He is currently assigned as a member of Committee on Estimates. His accolades are never ending and uncountable.
Now, let's dive into his political journey. He started his political journey in 2009 with Samajwadi Party, contesting from Gorakhpur against Yogi Adityanath ji. But he lost. In 2013, he joined the Bharatiya Janata Party. And in 2014, he won his first elections from Northeast Delhi, defeating Aam Aadmi Party's Anand Kumar ji. In 2019, he beat politician Sheila Dixit with a huge margin. He won for the third time in a row, defeating Kanhaiya Kumarji. Today, he is a well-known MP, especially loved by Purvanchali community in Delhi.
A minister is always incomplete without discussing his victory margins because it is all what makes him win. In 2014, when he started his political journey, he won with a remarkable margin of 1,44,184 votes against Anand Kumar from AAP party. Then in consecutive year 2019, He won with an excellent margin of 3,66,102 votes, remarking his presence of mind and his leadership qualities against Sheila Dixit from Indian National Congress. Then in 2024, he again won with a margin of 1,38,778 votes against Kanhaiya Kumar. Here, we have displayed a bar graph showing his victory margins in all the 3 years. His attendance in Delhi constituency is 85%, which is considered to be the most of the attendance of a parliamentarian in parliament.
Now, let's move ahead and look into his promises and performance. Manoj Tiwari ji promised a number of ambitious reforms for Delhi, announced that the city would be clean within 3 months with permanent jobs for sanitation workers, although this promise is still pending. He also spoke about providing pakka houses for slum dwellers within 2 years with complete gas connection, water, and toilets. To support family, he promised rupees 2 lakhs for the birth of a girl child, rupees 51,000 for girls' marriages, and free bicycles for class 9th girls. For senior citizens, he announced health insurance of up to rupees 10 lakhs. Above all, he aimed to transform Delhi into a global city under the vision of Viksit Bharat, focusing on clean water, improved transport, and overall growth for all sections of the society.
Now, let's talk about some of his achievements. Shri Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji has an 84% parliament attendance rate, which is much more higher than average. He has asked about 385 questions and participated in 37 debates. This shows that despite criticism, he is active in raising local and national issues. Now, let me tell you about his attendance and the questions that were raised by him. His session-wise attendance remained above 78%, peaking at 100% in budget session 2024. He asked questions about pollution, civic infrastructure, water issues, and more. This reflects an MP who takes his legislative duties seriously.
A dice has always two faces. Like this, Sri Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji participated in various enriching and engaging activities. Two of them we have displayed here. First, engaging questions and debating. Some of the engaging questions are displayed on the screen, like civic infrastructure in slums and metros expansion, employment, labor reforms, etc., development of civic amenities, water issues like Yamuna cleanliness and rainwater conservation, and demolition concerns in Burari and Timarpur. Not only this, need for an Navodaya Vidyalaya in the region and technology and industry are such issues which he is always concerned about. Then we have some debating sessions attended by him in 2014. On 30th July, under Budget States category, he discussed and debated on the annual budget for the National Capital Territory of Delhi for the fiscal year 2014 and 15. Not only this, on 16th December, under Government Bills category, he debated on the amendment bill concerning special provisions related to laws in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Then on 2019, on 25th June, he gave a motion of thanks on President's address under General Discussion category and spoke on schemes like Ujjwala and Ayushman Bharat. On 3rd September, he spoke on Swachh Bharat in urban slums under short duration discussion and discussed open defection to defecation in JJ clusters. In recent year 2024, when he won on 31st July, he demanded for Yamuna barrage. Not only this, he recommended a proposed check dams upstream, which gives a solution to the problem. On 12th December, he debated on traffic congestion in Delhi, which is a very common problem for Delhians, and this caused a lot of accidents and loss of lives as well.
Now, let me tell you about some of the key contributions that were made by him. Locally, Sri Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji formed ward committees, pushed for regularization of unauthorized colonies, and he used his MP funds to provide buses for differently able students. He also advocated criminal laws reforms and built public infrastructure like police offices and schools.
Here's a short video.
घरों में टॉयलेट बन गए। पैसा कहां से आया? 9.5 करोड़ घरों में फ्री गैस कनेक्शन चला गया। पैसा कहां से आया? 5 लाख रुपए का इस देश के 60 करोड़ लोगों को 5 लाख रुपया का फ्री इलाज मिलने लगा। आयुष्मान भारत। इसी जितने बचे हुए गांव थे हर जगह बिजली का खंभा, बिजली का तार खिंच गया, कोई भी गांव बिजली से अछूता नहीं रहा। सौभाग्य योजना, लोगों के घर घर में बल्ब, हमने एलईडी बल्ब देने लगे। इन सारी चीजों के बीच हम किसानों को 6-6 हजार रुपया सालाना उनके अकाउंट में देने लगे। इस देश में 13 करोड़
A bold promise, but a broken commitment. Media coverage of Sri Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji is mixed. Local outlets like Jagran and ABP praise him as accessible and a youth icon among migrants, while Love Bharat Times highlighted his presence during floods. On the other hand, The Hindu called him a weak on environmental action. NDTV noted a lack of legislative impact, and India Today criticized him for photo op politics during COVID. His own bold claims like cleaning the Yamuna in 3 years stand alongside these sharper reviews.
Expectations are the basis of democracy, and if those expectations are not fulfilled in time, the minister may face decline. Like this, here we have prepared a framework how some recommendations and suggestions can be worked upon by Sri Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji. First in the queue is Mohalla clinics. Continuing to expand Mohalla clinics and providing free or subsidized medical experiences, particularly to the poor, is crucial for improving healthcare facilities. Second, traffic management. Implementing smart traffic management systems, optimizing traffic flow, and improving road infrastructure can reduce congestion and improve travel times. Third, and most important, lack of focus on pollution and climate resilience. Northeast Delhi is among Delhi's most polluted zones as per DPCC data 2023. Still, no clear plan or policy suggestions from Tiwari ji on air quality has been checked. Minimal involvement in Yamuna cleanup task forces show his less concern for Yamuna cleanage, no support for urban forestation or e-mobility pilots.
Next, no legislative contribution via private bills. Despite serving since 2014, Manoj Tiwari ji has not introduced any private member bill. Given the urban challenges in his constituency, this is a missed opportunity. MPs like Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji and Ritesh Pandey ji have used private bills to shape public discourse. Next, education and skill gaps unaddressed. Government schools in areas like Selampur they face a shortage of teachers, poor infrastructure, and labs. There is no push for vocational skill centers, despite Northeast Delhi having high dropout rates. Next, parliamentary debate. Focus tilted towards symbolic issues. Many of his 37 debate centers around culture, language, and festival inclusions.
Lastly, full statehood for Delhi promise. BJP's 2014 manifesto supported full statehood for Delhi. Manoj Kumar Tiwari ji pledged to actively pursue it, and the outcome was that between 2014 and 2019, he did not raise a single question in Lok Sabha on statehood, metro fare hike, or shop ceiling grants, which was a core part of the promise.
We were in Manoj Tiwari ji place. Our first move would be to stay connected with the people of Northeast Delhi, not just only elections, but every single month. Real change comes from being on the ground, hearing people out and showing up consistently. That's the kind of leadership Young India looks up to. First, transport for all. Metro might cover central Delhi, but what about the areas like Karawal Nagar or Gokulpur? We would ensure proper bus routes and local mile connectivity. Accountability is everything. We would publish a public report card every 6 months where people can see what we have done, what's pending, and where we failed.
Introduce private bills, urban migrant housing bill, etc. Focused on rental housing may help people, local registration and night shelters as well. Women's safety in resettlement colonies act, funding for lights, CCTV and self-defense in urban slums. Not only this, constituency report card published an annual digital Northeast Delhi constituency report can include budget utilization, complaint redress data, school visits, etc., which can improve communication with people.
Lastly, citizen policy groups form a constituency advisory council of teachers, doctors, youth leaders, and traders use them to vet upcoming MP lads projects and suggest area-based improvements. Manoj Tiwari stands out for his strong local connect, visibility, and active participation in the parliament. His approachable style keeps him close to the people he represents.
Looking ahead, leveraging his strong cultural connection to accelerate the fulfillment of promises and expand advocacy on critical issues will be crucial in boosting public trust. With this, we rest our presentation and hope that you liked it, and we hope for a better future of India, because we are the future of India and we hope for the best. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I think Dr. Surbhi, what you would say that it's a phenomenal appraisal of an MP, and perhaps we send this entire presentation in the recording format to the Secretary General Lok Sabha or the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Om Birla Sahab. He would be really enthralled the kind of balanced purview which this trinity, I would say, three Devis have presented this evening of International Day of Parliamentarism. And as we can see all through the presentation, it was so balanced, so objective, and criticism where it was due, and cheerleading where it was essential, and the victory margins, the graphs which they presented. If you can just run through quickly, I would just try to comment upon each of the slide the way you have presented. This opening slide is great because it gives the context that where Delhi lies in one lacuna, because I've been the kind of an appraiser of your appraising presentation, is perhaps if you would have inserted somewhere the Northeast Delhi contours, what is the constituency geographical markup, that would have helped a lot, because Delhi, again, it has a lot of privilege and perhaps a lot of convolution, because being the national capital of the country, a half state constitutionally, because many of its departments are run by the central government, the Delhi Police, the DDA, and a host of other stuff. So Delhi has a lot of limitations that way. And if we see the parliamentary present, the people want to stay put in Delhi itself. So being the national capital, so fine, we have to discount a lot of things there. But the way you have raised the Delhi statehood issue beautifully, you have also talked about the Yamuna issue, but again, it's a flow problem. And it's a hat trick of your parliamentarian three times in a row continuously. So that gives the person an edge. And I loved the way you brought about that the entire spectrum of Mr. Tiwari. Your parliamentarians' speeches were around culture, because that's somewhere his professional expertise in that area, perhaps. And I really loved the coordination, Dr. Surbhi, right? The way they have carried forward in such a synchronous, without a jittering, lovely coordination, and that's truly a spirit, because parliamentarism is all about coordination. A political party tries to put up it's an organization in itself, and they give an aspirational issues, aspirational stuff. in a big way. So, Anurag, would you like to comment upon? Because we try to have a kind of a peer commenting. What you learned from this presentation? You come from a different geocultural locale, but what would be your comments over here? Your learnings and what they could have improved upon in their appraisal of their MP.
So first of all, the coordination amongst my counterparts were very efficient and very greased coordination. I can say that. And through the presentation, first of all, I was able to know about Shri Manoj Tiwari, his parliamentary works, his developments, his lackings. I also got to know about the problems of the Delhi constituency that are prevalent and which are yet to be solved or which are solved. So overall, it was a very informative and interesting presentation.
And one critique, if you have to give up, what they could have added upon more easily.
So critique.
So
Yes.
to come in here
Yeah.
and congratulate the Trinity, the girls from Mahavir Senior Secondary School, Delhi. And truly, what a spellbinding presentation! I'm really awe-inspired to know that the young girls and you are the budding leaders of tomorrow. And the way you've researched and presented the various dimensions of a city, a development in the national capital region. We're talking of Delhi NCR, Northeast Delhi. How you presented AIMS satellite centers. You've talked about the Yamuna cleaning. You've talked about traffic congestion, such a huge problem in NCR. You've talked about, the urban slums. You've talked about climate resilience and, the cultural aspect, of course, which is the plus point of the parliamentarian that has been addressed. And then you've talked about, suggestions also, where you say about, private bills being moved and, about promises which they have made and which should have been done in a 6 monthly report card. That's a brilliant idea. I think this is something which must go up, to the Lok Sabha for all the, parliamentarians. And of course, a small little suggestion, on how we can evaluate a parliamentarian or an MP's performance is relatively, if you take a 5 year or a certain time period, and the previous MP from that region, from when we are talking of Northeast Delhi here in this context, how the relative indicators of performance have, been better or worse or similar, that can be given. But overall, it's a really inspiring. I'm so encouraged to see that really accolades.
Yes, yes.
Loads of them.
And one 2 cents, like the presentation slides could have been further pepped up, because now we have got so many design tools and all, and the so that helps in reading it out well. But overall, I would say you have covered upon the legislative, deliberative, and developmental footprints phenomenally. And this is just a end of a grand beginning, perhaps, in parliamentarism, because this is where India's future lies in. Because parliamentarians have very special powers. Their interventions have to be monitored very academically, because the mainstream media is one thing, but academic monitoring of a parliamentarian's performance is so very vital, and that has got a terrific research value. And perhaps you would like to also talk upon which grades you are and what subjects you have in your classrooms, and how you could extrapolate from your textbooks to this applied civics or applied political science, if I may so say so, activity. Maybe Devhuti would like to uh, tell a bit.
Good evening, sir. My name is Devhuti, and I have taken up humanities as my subject, and I have politics, history, marketing, psychology as my subject,
Okay.
and I experienced a lot during this journey. I related the whole project with a chapter of my a particular chapter of my Indian politics book, Legislature, and how the true legislature works, the lawmaking body, and the ways a law becomes a rule becomes a law and the bill is passed, and how much time and effort it takes to pass the bill. Not only this, I also got to know that sometimes preparing for decisions and just committing something requires efforts to be completed. Commitment is not the only thing that one can do. It needs a lot of efforts to be completed as well.
Lovely, 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 lovely. Priyanshi, would you like to come in on this?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Sir, I am Priyanshi. I have chosen humanities, same subject. And sir, it was very interesting to, it was very enriching knowing about our MP and foremost appraising it, because usually in a country like India हम easily negative चीजें बोल लेते हैं, positive is like a least thing. So it was very enriching and I got so much exposure and I it was very helpful to me.
Lovely. What Priyanshi has talked about is a binary vote. Our electoral vote every 5 years on electoral booth is generally binary. But enlightened electorate is someone which perhaps extrapolates that entire decision making into a long list of parameters, and perhaps that is what you have started upon. You have really taken your own textbook, your political science textbook, and Devati talked about psychology. I loved it because the way she, in your presentation, there was a markup where you said that more connection with the electorate is required, apart from being just in the election period. So एग्जाम से पहले ही पढ़ाई मत करो, पूरे साल भर पढ़ाई जो करनी होती है, that's a kind of thing what Devuti was suggesting, because this is a very fine mix of subjects, and this is very terrific that you have really taken up to such a level. And perhaps I think I'm losing Kinjal. Perhaps she will come later on. So lovely, lovely, lovely background, lovely presentation. Yeah, Kinjal, would you like to also talk about?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. My name is Kinjal, and I have also taken humanities as my stream. Sir, throughout this project, throughout this whole contest, I learned a lot about the MP. And as a political science student, I realized that I did not know a lot about the MPs or how the processes were going on, like how the MP was chosen in the Rajya Sabha and sometimes maybe in the Lok Sabha. And to be really honest with you, I did not know who actually was the MPs of the each of the constituency of Delhi. So I learned a lot about this, and it was a really good journey.
So you all put up in Northeast Delhi, all you three of you? Northeast Delhi, your school is in Northeast Delhi, so you put up nearby, or you crisscross a different constituency?
No, sir, nearby.
Nearby, okay, okay. And one more remarkable thing I would like to bring about. Somewhere you had mentioned you could decipher from within the small territory of Delhi. Northeast Delhi metro is not served, Karawal Nagar and all. So within a kind of a hyper local observation, you could bring about, and that is what the spirit is. This is at the Lok Sabha level, but when the same challenge goes at the assembly level, it further gets further granulated, and perhaps at the municipal level it further distills down. And I think you have really shown a kind of a framework, a kind of a blueprint for, I think, the other students across the nook and cranny of the country who would be watching this session later on, that how they have to visualize it across, and you have really done a great head start. Let's now invite Anurab to make his appraisal of his parliamentarian. Anurab, let's hear you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. A bit about your school, a bit about your constituency first, and then we'll move. Because Delhi is quite known, but 542 है, दिल्ली के अलावा भी देश है. That is something we are very fortunate कि भैया दिल्ली है, हम दिल्ली वाले हैं. But the country, our constitution gives equal weightage to all the constituencies for that matter. So I think it would be tougher, but I think Anurag would be able to give us much deeper perspectives about how a constituency works and what is the importance of a parliamentarian in a far off constituency, where he comes from. Anurag.
So first of all, good evening to one and all present here. So first of all, I would like to say that as sir mentioned that Guwahati is not a very touched subject or touched constituency in national politics rather than Delhi. So Guwahati has some problems which are still unknown to most of the wider public of the nation, but those are very important or eminent problems. Like Guwahati faces from artificial floods, and Guwahati also faces from landslides and deforestation problems that are erosing from time to time. But I think the primacy or the importance of a parliamentarian will be more in Guwahati,
Mm-hmm.
as because Guwahati is still developing, and a developing state needs a developing mind or a better leadership quality to foster that phase of development of Guwahati.
Mm-hmm.
So, with your permission, I would
Yeah,
like to.
please share, please share. Yeah. So we all know Guwahati. Guwahati is the capital of Assam, the largest state in, or perhaps the most prominent state in the northeast cluster of the Ashtalakshmi states we call as of now. But yes, yes, please. Modern school, Kalhi Para, Guwahati, Assam.
So, sir, since my school is situated in Guwahati Lok Sabha constituency, I have chosen up my constituency's parliamentarian is Shri Bijuli Kalita Medhi.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think first of all we shall start from paying tribute to the 2001 parliamentarian attack victims, where the terrorists from Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed deliberately took India's parliament under attack, and most frightening thing was that our own parliamentarians, very prominent leaders like Shri Lal Krishna Advani and others were also present. So I think parliament as a soul of our democracy is very important, and I think a tribute to the martyrs shall be paid. So, sir, as I have mentioned that my school is located in the Guwahati Lok Sabha constituency. So, my member of parliamentarian is Shri Bijuli Kalita Medhi.
Mm-hmm.
Bijuli Kalita Medhi is a first-time MP. She has been working rigorously in BJP since 1998. She joined BJP officially in 1998, but she has a political background. Her father-in-law worked in BJP. Thereafter, her father also was a prominent member of BJP. She also held many prominent positions in the state BJP affairs, like the she was elected as municipal corporation of Guwahati in 2013. She also headed the BJP Mahila Morcha president for 2 terms. So we can see that as I have already mentioned, that Guwahati suffers from the problems of artificial flooding and deforestation, also landslides. So Mrs. Bijuli Kalita Medhi pressed on these charges, but it is yet to be seen. Many of the problems she has solved, but many are to be solved. We can see her campaigning in Guwahati in this picture. Personal information, sir, it is about when Mrs. Medhi was born, her father's name, her mother's name, and the liabilities and assets that Mrs. Uh, Medhi has given in front of the parliament. And I think it's very crucial for us to know about the assets and liabilities of our leaders, the criminal cases they hold, or the interests they have. That helps us to make them more approachable towards us and to understand them very better. First of all, sir, I would show you this attendance of Miss Bijuli Karita Medhi as she was elected last year, 2024. So till now, there are only three sessions of parliament, and she has registered 100% vote.
Mm.
So it seems that she's quite serious about her parliamentarian work, and I think attendance is
Mm-hmm.
a very important issue for us as students also, and for the parliamentarians also. So I think I can be assured
I
that
think
Mrs.
Madam Medhi would be quite surprised that her attendance is now becoming a matter of kind of a national student councils who are witnessing it all, and it's good because बच्चों को तो सब कहते हैं भैया तुम्हें ये अनुशासन करना है वो करना है, but when the kids come themselves and talk to their parliamentarians, look, we are also watching you. So it is quite a lovely interface out there. Lovely, lovely. Please carry on.
So then I have the participation of Mrs. Bijuli Kalita Medhi. I have given I have measured the participation of my parliamentarian through the number of questions she have asked. So, sir, we can see as the state average is 26 questions that has been asked, the state average of the parliamentarians, and national average is 32. So, sir, I think in this regard, she has performed quite well, but I think more can be done on this, as because so questions are an tool of accountability that the parliamentarians have, and I think we as we now has the panel has been seated here to question or to evaluate. So I think questions are very important to a parliamentary system. Then, sir, I have also given the
Just I would like to intervene just to for the benefit of all, because parliamentary questions have the highest priority. The entire bureaucracy, especially the joint secretaries across ministries, they remain in a huddle because a parliamentary question has like if you are put up an RTI, it has a different level of priority, or if you put up a CP grams kind of a grievance. But a parliamentary question is something which is so very sacrosanct, and this is great that what questions were asked and what answers were given by the government per se. So very pertinent point what Anurab has brought about. Very very important. I think on the performance matrix, if we are to rate and rank the parliamentarians, perhaps the questions asked by them, the qualitative assessment might be difficult, but since quantitatively we can just have a rating and ranking, I think this is the one single parameter more than the attendance, because it tells that how involved and engaged a parliamentarian is all about. Please carry on.
Sir, I have also mentioned about the debates she have mattered in. So here we can see that all the debates that she have participated in regarding the India-China border conflict and the Ministry of Fisheries, and these are all related to Assam and also to Guwahati. So I would say that from this, I can figure out at least that Mrs. Medhi is concerned about us, and she's pressing or she's tabling our needs or demands on national level.
Lovely, lovely.
Here, sir, we can see that Mrs. Medhi is in talks with Shri Chirag Paswan regarding the establishment of banana making chips powder in Gwalpara, Assam. So, sir, banana making chips is a very flourishing business in Assam. So, I think fostering it and giving it a upthrust as a result, I think, is a commendable job done by Mrs. Medhi. So here I have given a chart of the developmental works, as we know that parliamentarians are given MPs fund so that they can initiate developmental projects on their own within their constituencies without requiring the without depending upon the state or the central government. So sir, here I have normally, if we are going to say from this pie diagram, we can say that normal and other works she have managed and given sanctioned many of the amount to that. Some projects like the construction of community center and community halls in Amiyanagar, Chanmari also is located in 15 lakh for that same. So sir, I think Mrs. Medhi has been, as a woman, as we say that women are very meticulous organizers of the budget of the house. So I think Mrs. Medhi has performed that well in terms of her constituency also. Sir, I have also mentioned about the allocation of the funds she have also done. But sir, here we can see that most of our projects are either ongoing or unsanctioned, but neither of them are completed. So I think Mrs. Medhi can upthrust the ongoing processes.
But it's hardly 1 year. First term parliamentarian, 1 year, you can give that.
No, sir, but I don't think the establishment that Mrs. Medhi has done, like the community halls, are in a very urbanized area, sir. So the building processes, the transportation of goods, and this doesn't take very long time, sir.
Okay, lovely. So you have you want better performance in terms of completion of projects. Lovely, please.
So Mrs. Medhi is also concerned about the connectivity of Assam and Guwahati through all over India. As we know, we suffer from lack of connectivity, particularly the Northeast. Also because of the chicken neck corridor, we can say that. But she is also concerned. That's why she is, sir, in talks with Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, the Railway Minister of India, for the development of railway services in Assam and northeastern areas. Sir, approachability of the leader, I think, is a very key term for the development of that leader himself or herself, and for the people also. So I think Mrs. Medhi has provided appropriate information about her, that how people can approach her through her email IDs, through her house number, house address, and also through her contact numbers. Sir, I would like to also say about the votes that she received. Mrs. Medhi, in totality of the Guwahati parliamentary constituency, she received 55.95% of the votes, approximately 56 percentage. And she won against Shri Meera Borthakur, who was a candidate from the Congress party. She secured 40.25 percentage vote. So, sir, here we can see Mrs. Medhi in talks with the district administration regarding the implementation of several projects. Sir, my own personal assessments about the leader would be that, first of all, Mrs. Medhi had established a contact with the people before the elections, that she would be resolving certain issues like the artificial flooding of Guwahati area. But it seems that just now, as the rain has gone, it seems that it is not fulfilled. The landslide problems are still very up. And I would also like to say that Mrs. Medhi has been quite unsuccessful in dealing with the public, as because we have seen, as she just now visited some of the flood prone areas, and there she faced certain heckling and protest from the people. Well, protests are a good thing for the democracy, but I don't think protests in such large scales and with such angry mood are good for a politician as well. So, sir, my suggestions to the leader and Mrs. Medhi would be that Mrs. Medhi shall incorporate or entrust herself in completing the work she had. I would also like to say that Mrs. Medhi has done a tremendously good work. Like, she has also given much primacy to the village areas and the commercial activities around Assam, like the Gwalpara chips factory we have seen. But I think more can be done. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anurag. I think another majestic presentation. Just to you can close this. We can come on the interaction window. When you say artificial flood problem of Assam, we know that Brahmaputra flows through over there. So why you call it as artificial flooding? I would just like to know.
So artificial because the drainage systems which are present in Assam are either very poorly developed, which could not drain the drainage sewage waters of Guwahati to the Brahmaputra river, or otherwise they are planned successfully, but the people either tend to jam them, or they are jammed because of the natural deposition of silts. Silts is because, sir, there are very natural streams that flows through these drains. So they tend to deposit mud, seals, and other issues that are other fragments of rocks and soils in the drains, which tend to block them. So, sir, this leads to artificial flooding, I would say that.
Okay. So what in your opinion, as a citizen of Guwahati constituency, what can be done? What needs to be done to get over with this problem?
Sir, I think first of all, I think we shall start from our own. We shall not throw garbages in the drains. We shall keep our drains clean. Thereafter, we shall hold the government accountable. On the government part, I would say that the proper drainage plannings shall be initiated. It has been in talks for several years. But I would also say that there are some geographical terms in this, because the Brahmaputra river carries more silt than many other rivers. And sir, because when in the base of the Brahmaputra river, when the silt deposition takes place, the bed of the river is filled up.
Okay.
So the water tends to overflow. So this is also a reason, but this is not the primary reason for floods, sir. This is a secondary reason.
Okay.
Primary reason, I could say that it is artificial criticism.
I think apart from the parliamentarians' appraisal, Nurab has got a fairly decent hold on the entire dynamics of hydrology out there. And perhaps I would really ask you, because this is something which we do from the edges of Rethink India. You can approach IIT Guwahati, civil engineering for that matter, and what they are actually doing, because they are the host institution for a lot of such large scale problems, because it is not under the direct purview of a parliamentarian. It's a larger flow problem, and Brahmaputra, as we all understand, after the Indus Water Treaty annulment, we would say that it's a geostrategic challenge what Northeast faces. I think that's a matter of a different session for that matter. I think Anurab, you have really brought about your parliamentarian in an extremely good light, and your parliamentarian has really shown that impeccable record of cent percent attendance. Now, these are something like 10 on 10 kind of great markers, which we always see the 5 stars in the school charts, something like that. So, apart from the questions, the attendance is something very, very vital. And the way you have shown her presenting representations, linking her debates to the issues of her constituency, it's quite interesting over there. Dr. Surbi raised her hand. Perhaps she would like to comment upon.
Yes. So I would like to really, first of all, comment and congratulate Aruna. You have done a very, I should say, first principles kind of analysis of your constituency, of the region which is being represented by Madam Medhi, and your understanding of the locale, the problems, the first principle fundamental issues, that is phenomenal. I think this is something which any political leader or aspirational anybody who is who has some understanding, wishes to enter into the service of the nation, should necessarily adopt and foster understanding, what is the geographical locale, how the environment is responding, how the forestation is there, how the education, healthcare. Then there are so many avenues and so many vistas to understanding a locale. So that is really eminent and reflecting from your presentation. First of all, I would like to commend you and congratulate you for that. And then how you have deeply connected to your leader, how you are saying, you're mentioning her educational qualification, her house, family background, and how she has, her life journey. And you have called out such anecdotes and pictures from her journey, how she's contributing to national development. And at the same time, you have your critical feedback. That so much fund was allocated, these community halls in the developed areas of Assam. More could have been done. That is, I think, a very, if I were in Mrs. Medhi's place, I think this is something which would be really encouraging and really, important to know that our young students are, they're the budding visionaries of tomorrow. And this feedback is so very critical for any leader per se. So I think this is phenomenal and great job. And you've also analyzed, the relatively time-based, questions. Like when you said 20 is the question number of questions made by the leader, and 26 is the state average, and 32 is the national average. So, and the number of questions reflect the political leaders' participation in the parliament. I think this is really nice. So I would have really also looked forward to a bit more about education, healthcare in Assam, because we know Ashtalakshmi states, they're bountifully blessed with the natural fauna and flora. But how education is going on, how girl-child promotion, I know it's quite tough when you have floods and landslides. But seeing such bright students like Aruna speaking so, I think ferociously on the national issues, on the state issues, I'm tempted to ask about the overall educational status and how Madam Medhi is addressing that. So overall, wonderful presentation, very very well done. Aruna wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, Aruna.
Ma'am, regarding the educational qualities, I have not mentioned as because, ma'am, I think for each and every parliamentarian, it is important to foster the growth of education and healthcare. But as I think my constituency a bit unique it is. So I have told about this, but I would say, sir, ma'am, sorry that I have not included
Mm-hmm.
in my presentation. But these issues are very pressing issues, and I think Mrs. Medhi is lacking, but also she has done some after effects, like she have initiated the faster progression of the midday meal schools, midday meal schemes in the schools. She have also allocated some of our funds in building the schools in the Numoligarh area of Assam. So I think it has been done, but I would still be critic and say more can be done.
More can. And since the entire contest was based on the parliamentarian per se, the unique differentiating aspect of that parliamentarian, and it's just a starting point of it all. And perhaps uh, at Rethink India, we feel that if a constituency wise appraisal is created as a part of a larger system, perhaps by the Lok Sabha or for that matter, year on year, I think it will really add upon the developmental indices in a phenomenal fashion as to how much a parliamentarian pushed in his or her own tenure. Apart from the macro aspects, what I think the school team presented, the difference in the vote percentages. Anurab also presented that 55 point, because at present it is only the win or lost part of the appraisal, pass or fail. But as the way we get a mark sheet, I think you have started on that process. If a kind of a grade sheet is given on these parameters, I think that would be a great learning for us at Rethink India. Phenomenal presentation. Perhaps any of you, the girls, would like to comment upon on Anurab's presentation. What you learned specifically, because the purpose of these sessions is peer learning as well. What is specifically you learned from his part? Maybe quickly, then we will sum it up. Yeah. Devuti has raised her hand. You can, yeah, please.
Thank you for giving such enriching information. This is all I want to say. And I just, that pictures of Mrs. Medhi ji in the PowerPoint presentation captured my attention, because it is somewhat like when we read our books and there is some case studies given, it helps us to understand more deeply and more minutely about the whole process. So I just love that part, and the presentation was fabulous and spellbounding.
Lovely. Kinjal, she has raised her hand. Yeah.
Sir. So, uh, first of all, I would like to say that, like in the beginning, Sir said, uh, like Delhi is the capital city of India, right? So, like उसके बारे में सबको पता है, but Assam and there are other also states जिनके बारे में बहुत लोगों को नहीं पता है. And I think कि I was also one of them, but now after watching his presentation, मुझे इतना कुछ पता चला that I didn't know कि ऐसा भी कुछ होता है. Like a lot of things were there, जैसे कि, and I really like the way he presented his views. He did not only just say all the good things and all like sugar-coated words. He also talked about her. He also talked about how she can improve. So I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Lovely, lovely. I think okay. She logged out, perhaps the third participant. So maybe we have Soumya Jain ma'am, who has been witnessing it all, and someone who really was greatly excited by this curation of this, one of its first kind of appraisal. We would be building it up further. And today being the International Day for Parliamentarism, Dada Bhai Nehruji's Punyatithi. Dada Bhai Nehruji would be completing 200 years of his being. He was born on 4th of September in 1825. So on that day, we are converging yet another campaign. Like if I were a parliamentarian, the focus shifts from appraising your parliamentarian to if I become a parliamentarian, what I would be doing. So that's another level of contest we have thrown it across, and we would be felicitating you all on that specific day. Because that's where a lot of other participants are joining in. That if I were the parliamentarian of Northeast, मैं तिवारी जी की बजाय अगर किंजल राज पुरोहित would have been the parliamentarian, तो what I would have done, मैंने क्या क्या किया होता. So that is something like it is in that layer or level of it all. So Soumya ma'am's inputs, let's first hear her out. Very patient, because teachers at such a delayed time, 8 p.m., in their homes, becoming a role model for the students, sitting so very patiently. We have to listen from them. Madam Somya Jain, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Surbhi ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, students. So, first of all, when this contest came, it is not just me. My principal, ma'am, Ruchika ma'am, was also very excited that, something new. The students are going to actually know something. So, one question you had asked from my students, and they, I could point out their mistakes. You did not want to mention it. Mahavir Senior Model School lies in a constituency which is led by Yogendra Chandolia ji. And but because he was the first time parliamentarian, so we decided to take Manoj Tiwari ji, since we wanted to actually help our students learn what kind of work is done in the parliament. Apart from this, I would say they had done a great job. Apart from Manoj Tiwari ji, we had also prepared a presentation on Basuri Swaraj ji, but it was not completed, so we did not present. And I think they have done a great job. And Anurag has also done a great job. I have learned a lot. And this contest, actually, because I'm also new in this teaching field, right? So it has actually given me an opportunity to know what else can be done to make classrooms very exciting for students. So this has one of a kind of experience. And definitely the presentation presented, apart from my student, had also so much of information that I would really want such contests to come further. I would want the students to participate, to actually think about the work that is done by the parliamentarians. I am actually looking forward to all the contests that you are rolling in towards us. I am actually all up for it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think we come to the close of these presentations, and I think Dr. Surbi, because it's very, judging is not the part. We would be assimilating the key facets of it all, and you all have qualified to be the Manohar Parikar Appraise Your MP Prashasti for that matter, but we would be conferring it on all of you on, as we said, that 4th of September. Or perhaps it would be on International Day of Democracy, which is 15th of September. So we want to commemorate these days because humanities per se, somewhere people feel, oh, humanities, it's the era of artificial intelligence, computing, blockchains, and so on and so forth. But who are the people who will be driving the policy around them? It's people, it's students like you who have a deep dive into the policies of it all, that how I would say the artificial flood challenge what Anurab has presented, perhaps he's also a humanities student, but the kind of grasp and command he has, is simply he has explained the entire nemesis, the entire challenge of Sam Kamaroop in such a small fashion. I think that macro view is so very pertinent. So we would, and that interestingly, 15th of September also happens to be the India's Engineers Day. So engineering of the democratic order, solving problems, because parliamentarians have to really double click, triple click. It's a very elaborate field, and if I were a administrative officer, that is one part of the story. But if I were a parliamentarian, is again kind of a very interesting concept, and you have really presented the kind of challenge and the kind of scope. It's an open-ended one. There are not very many training academies for a parliamentarian. The parliamentarians have to be self-driven. They have to read. They have to set up their own offices. So I think that is all. Dr. Surbi, anything you will like to add upon? This is from our side. This was a kind of a very challenging contest to curate because there was no precedent for it. एंड इंडिया में हम डरते हैं भाई अप्रेजिंग योर पार्लियामेंटेरियन भैया इनफैक्ट आई वुड रियली congratulate the honorable principals from both the schools that they dared up, बिकॉज शासन प्रशासन से भैया दूर से नमस्कार करो सर मैडम इट्स ऑल फाइन सो so they could really encourage the students really enter into this very deep dive. Dr. Surbi.
So I would like to come in and say here that Shiksha Gaddi jo hai, we call the fifth estate as the or the academy as the fifth and the foremost estate, where the other four estates are the legislature, the bureaucracy, the executive, the judiciary. So it is a lot of responsibility on the academia, to comment and to guide the other, the the nation's polity. So this is somewhere I feel that we at Rethink India we have taken this bold, daring step, and I think students like Arunab and Kinjal and Priyanshi and Devuti, and of course highest accolades to Soumya Jain ma'am for chiseling out and ma'am encouraging the students to speak up. There is so much of talent and so much of thought. I think it's not a whether it's you're a ninth class student or a sixth class student or you're a girl or you're a boy, what family background you come from, which schooling you come from. But the youth is bubbling with energy, zeal, and enthusiasm, and their intelligence, their thoughts, their idea, their vision, their entire political fervor needs to be bolstered and channelized into the building of the nation. I think this is one humble small step towards all this, the leading the torch further and further. The light of the torch, the flame of the torch should go further and further. So with this, I think I thank all the participants for joining in. Soumya ma'am, of course, for leading your brilliant Trinity, and the girls from Mahavir Senior Secondary Model School. We had the good privilege of meeting Honorable Madam Principal at our Srimati Sushma Swaraj Sri Shakti Samman at Delhi. And I look forward to Arunab. You are a profound leader in yourself. I can see that in sparkle in your eyes. And maybe one day you'll remember us. That so lovely, ma'am, and thank you so much for
This is just the end of a grand beginning. The contest is just the end of a grand beginning. Keep the flame aside, because constituency level analytics is it's a huge career spectrum which is coming through. The kind of developmental money which is being spent across constituencies. It call apart from the academic pursuit of it all. It's a very serious career. Even if you write for the UPSC examination or whatever, a lot of localization, like the NEP principle 13, it says about the conscious about the local context. Now, what better context than the popular politics of that constituency? It provides that context all of a sudden. So I think this presentation really becomes a kind of a, and you keep on building, improving upon it, adding upon more vistas, and that would really help tremendously in your careers going forward. Whatever streams, whatever fields, it's getting a very diverse and interconnected, interdisciplinary era. Like I can see engineering and technology coming into parliamentarians' questions. So these are the challenges which we all have to face. So thank you so much, and it was a fabulous commemoration of the International Day of Parliamentarism. And I would also like to pay tribute to Dada Bhai Naroji by reading out his sextat. दादा भाई ने कहा कि अंग्रेज भारत से यहाँ से पैसा ले जा रहे हैं, द ड्रेन ऑफ वेल्थ, जस्ट एक ज्ञान की परंपरा में. सो व्हाट ही टॉक्ड अबाउट, just it's on the screens, that Naroji's sextet in poverty and un-British rule in India, that was his magnum opus, that resulted in the external drain of wealth from India to Britain. The drain of wealth theory. So India was governed by a foreign government. India did not attract immigrants who brought labor and capital for economic growth. India paid for Britain's civil administrations in India and her Indian army. India bore the burden of empire building in and out of its borders, and opening the country to free trade allowed for foreigners to take highly paid jobs over these of equally qualified Indians. And the principal income earners would spend their money outside of India or leave with the money, as they were mostly foreign personnel. So these are the kind of global concerns what our early freedom fighters, early nationalists, they talked about it. And in the contemporary era, when the India-US trade deal is being signed on, the US is putting a lot of pressure on the Indian government to open up even dairy and agriculture for the US crops and things like that. So these are the kind of some of the debates we will be seeing going forward. The BRICS summit is just round the corner. So a lot of, I would say, interesting things coming forward. So since it is the Punyatithi of Dada Bhai Naroji, we just felt like to give a snapshot of this living legend. And thank you so much for all your hours which you have put up in curating this presentation. Treasure it, I tell you. These are lovely presentations. Append them a bit more on the creative side, both the teams. And we would be meeting you on 15th of September with the formal felicitation with a much larger audience. That would be the Engineers Day and also the International Day of Democracy, as to how, because democracy is all about criticism. भारत हम critical inquiry की तो बात करते हैं, but somewhere or the other conformism has taken over in our families, in our classrooms, in our schools. But until or unless we are critical, and being critical is a daring step, because a lot of responsibility come on your shoulders. And the way you all four of you have critiqued your member of parliament, I think it is way better than even a mainstream channel 9 p.m. debate, which is more about noise rather than nuance. So I think you are the future who are presenting a nuanced purview, because no, it's not a binary 0 or 1. You cheer or you condemn blatantly. It's a midway, and that's a kind of a percentage. That's a kind of a thing what you all presented. Thank you so much. And with this, we will close. And thank you all, Devhuti, Priyanshi, Runab, Kinjal, and thank you Soumyajan ma'am for being with us this evening. Thank you so much. I will just